What supplements would you have men and women consuming?
For women, the most important supplement she could ever take is magnesium. Magnesium makes every single hormone in your body. For men, I would say the most important supplement for hormones is zinc, because zinc makes testosterone. Outside of that, for both men and women, the other supplement and the other measurement that we all need to be looking at are vitamin D levels.
And vitamin D comes from sunlight, doesn't it?
Sunlight and sardines. The food sources are really bad. This is why everybody's low in it. Really fatty fishes and sunlight.
And we spend most of our time indoors.
That's right.
We can't get it from this kind of light, right?
No. And you have to be outside, like skin exposed at the high point of the day, of the sun, like 12, 1 o'clock, to get the most vitamin D, which is why so many people are low in vitamin D, which is why taking vitamin D is a smart thing.
The single most stupid thing people do is keep their mouths open. Here's how to hold perfect mouth posture. Locate this spot behind your front teeth by saying la, na, da, ta. Suction your tongue against the roof of your mouth from that spot backwards by sucking up all the saliva using just your tongue. Swallow the saliva down and keep your whole tongue resting against your palate. Lightly touch your upper and lower teeth together and seal your lips. That's how to apply perfect mouth posture. Do it whenever you aren't speaking or eating, every minute of every day. If you feel it slipping, suction your tongue against your palate again. Open mouth posture causes this growth, and this growth instead of this growth. Do you think it's genetic? This boy with good facial development developed allergies at age 12 and then started to mouth breathe. This is him at 17. His face became deformed. You know what happens to monkeys when you force them to breathe through their mouths? They go from this to this. And the same thing is happening to human mouth breathers every single day. Start looking at people's mouth posture when you're walking down a busy street. You'll notice that people with forwards grown jaws generally keep their mouths closed, and people with long narrow faces and recessed jaws almost always have their mouths open. Once you see it, you'll never be able to unsee it. Mouth posture is the most important part of the beauty quadrant, but it's not the only part. All 4 tenets need to be applied to retain all of your beauty potential. To find out all the nuances of mouth posture and the other tenets, grab my book, Beauty Potential: How Facial Beauty is Retained or Lost. It's available on your local Amazon site. And if you found this video useful, share it with your friends and family and comment down below.
I didn't get married until I was 33. I didn't create content until I was 35. I didn't start a podcast until I was 37. I didn't write a book until I was 38. At 30, I thought I'd peaked. And at 38, I think I'm just getting started.
Skincare mistakes to avoid if you want to age like a fetus, coming from a 40-year-old board-certified dermatologist. And the rule here is to achieve an even skin tone, because once your skin tone is even, there is no filter. You can fake it till you make it until you're 6 feet under. Starting with number 1, a lot of you guys think vitamin C is the holy grail ingredient when it comes to skincare and that you're going to achieve a bright complexion, but this is not the case. There are no miracle ingredients, and vitamin C alone can do jack shit to your skin tone. So if you have an uneven skin tone, discoloration, dark spots, yes, you want to include vitamin C, but it is one component out of many. It's really around 10 to 15 different ingredients. 2, relying on laser treatments. Why are you going to get laser treatments if you're not doing the hard work at home? Your skincare has to be consistent on a daily basis in order to tackle discoloration and hyperpigmentation, and lasers should be viewed as a boost. And trust me, I do a lot of laser treatments in my practice, so this goes against my own benefit. 3, overusing or not using a retinol. And this is kind of counterintuitive, because if you overuse a retinol, you're going to get inflamed, and if your skin can't tolerate it, inflammation is the worst thing you can do for your skin and your skin tone. But if you're not using a retinol, you're really missing out. So consistency over intensity, try to incorporate it 2 to 3 times a week, at least in your routine. Expecting overnight results is unrealistic. It takes time to reverse the damage, and it has taken years to cause the damage. Last, just wear the damn sunscreen.
If there was only one thing that I could tell women, and one thing only, it's this. You need to get more comfortable lying to men. Lying about what, you ask? Everything. Everything before him. As of this moment, you are a princess. You have only ever received princess treatment. Every man that you've ever been with puts you first and spoils you rotten. Show up to the table how you want to be served. If you want to get filet mignon, do not tell him that you ever ate McDonald's. Do not underestimate the power of suggestion. You think that you're bonding and being so vulnerable by telling these men that you're unlucky in love and your ex treated you like shit. All you're doing is planting seeds in their brain that you tolerate bullshit. And that's exactly what you're going to get from him. Bullshit. If you've had a shitty past with men, I need you to get more comfortable lying about it. You don't have to be that person forever. Just lie.
Nothing, and I mean nothing, has changed my life more than EFT tapping. Nothing. I have not shut up about EFT tapping for the past 5 years of my life. Because once it came into my life, everything changed. Literally everything changed. And I'm not just talking about like manifestations and vision board items coming through, although literally everything did come through. I'm talking about my level of peace and a regulated nervous system and amazing relationships and joy and creativity. If you've never heard of EFT tapping or tried it, it stands for Emotional Freedom Technique, and it's based in Chinese medicine. So you're tapping lightly on meridian points, like all of these, in order to release and let go of the strong emotional response or the energetic block associated with a thought, a belief, a memory. And doing so, in turn, literally rewires your brain, because every single one of your belief systems in your brain that's held by a neural pathway is made up of past memories that have strong emotional reactions that have then contributed to that belief, such as money is hard to make. You believe that because you have many memories with strong emotional reactions attached of times you saw other people struggle to make money, of times you yourself tried to make money and struggled. And until we release that neural pathway and rewire it via EFT tapping, it's going to be very, very, very difficult, if not impossible, to experience something outside of that belief system. Nothing will convince you more about it than just trying it for yourself and feeling and experiencing the difference. So I'm offering a free trial in my Dreamway membership through January 7th. Here's to a seriously epic 2025. You deserve it.
Ladies, do not let yourself go. That is a huge thing you need to keep in the back of your head every single day. There's been times I've let myself go, and I saw a girl talking about this topic earlier, but it is really so important that you hold on to yourself, and appearance-wise, mind, body, spirit, everything. Always be working on yourself. It can be extremely hard if you're in a depressive state, if you're feeling insecure, if you're going through grief, if you're going through anything tough. It's very easy to let yourself go. It's very easy to start eating your feelings. It's very easy to not shower. It's very easy to stop getting your eyebrows done and your nails done and stop taking care of yourself. But you gotta do those things. And you don't even realize that in the midst of your mind being so shadowed and being so dark, when you make yourself presentable, when you feel good in your own skin and you feel like you look your best, that will automatically help your mindset. The unfortunate truth in this world, we have to be real with ourselves. Appearance is currency. People will treat you different based on how you walk in a room, based on how you're dressed, based on how you look. People will treat this person just looks good, but this person's heart is boo-boo. But this person got the purest heart. This person is so kind, so beautiful on the inside, but just because this person walked in looking better, they're gonna treat this one better. They're gonna let this one cut in the line. So you gotta understand that you gotta do this for you. People respect you different when you walk into a room. Like I take care of myself, and I'm not just talking about how you were born, just how you get yourself ready. Take care of your health. Get in the gym, eat healthier, drink your water. These are very simple things to live by. Go get in the sun, do your steps throughout the day. Make sure you're moving your body, and all of that comes into play with how you look as well. You're gonna have more energy, your skin's gonna be more glowy, you're gonna be more vibrant, and you're going to be respected differently. And you're gonna prove to yourself, even when you're going through hard times, I'm gonna do the right thing for me because I love me. That is a form of self-love, y'all. Getting ready and doing things that you don't want to do, but you know you got to do it for your future self, delayed gratification, that is self-love. But don't let yourself go. Don't let yourself go over nothing, not over a boy, not over nothing. Keep working on yourself, and you don't need to seek motivation. Your self-love is your motivation. But yeah, that was my little TED Talk rant. I love y'all. Bye.
No, because my transformation from age 25 to age 30 really ought to be studied. And I'm not on here to tell you like I don't look 30. I'm happy to be 30 and I think I look 30. I just think my skin looks so much better now than it did 5 years ago. So let me take you through all of the things I've done in the last 5 years to transform my skin. If you do nothing that I mentioned in this video, but you suddenly start wearing sunscreen every day, your pigment will start to fade and your texture and your pores will diminish. It's amazing, but sun damage does more than just cause cancer and wrinkles. I wear an SPF 50 every single day, and I put it on my eyes, on my eyelids, on my lips, on my neck, and on my hands. If you damage your skin barrier in the pursuit of trying to achieve smoother, brighter skin, it can actually just have the opposite effect and make your hyperpigmentation and your texture worse. Soothing mist, and then incorporate a couple different, barrier serum, and maybe multiple moisturizers. You can go crazy on this step, okay? And then of course, retinol. Now, not all retinols are created equal. A lot of retinol on the market is not stable, meaning it degrades so much before you actually end up using it on your skin. Coco Kind, for example, Shawnee Darden, Medic 8, these are all retinol formulas that are very potent and very stable and will work to fade your dark spots and smooth your skin. Now let me tell you, I have wasted my money on many a skincare device, but I will never ever regret using red light therapy. This is my favorite skincare device that has truly transformed my skin. The reduction of redness, inflammation, and of course pigment. I started with Current Body. I've been using them since 2020, and you can see my non-sponsored before and afters that truly speak for themselves. As a bonus, this is not necessary, but it has really helped take my skin to the next level, especially in the last couple years, has been peptides, stem cells, and growth factors. I love this growth factor serum by Osmosis. This is so expensive, but yes, I have seen a difference. So if you have money to spend, go for it. And then One Skin helps your skin maintain healthy cells over a long period of time. And this is just with skincare for the most part. I have not done Botox, fillers, lasers, any kinds of procedures. This will maybe be the year for that. So if I try anything that I like, I will certainly let you know.
Have you ever considered that your life right now, your reality, is a reflection of how you see yourself? In the book Secrets of Successful Selling, the author John D. Murphy tells the story of a sales consultant who was called in by this company, this firm, to help a struggling salesman. Now, this was in the 1950s, so keep that in mind with the numbers that I'm about to share. That particular salesman consistently earned $5,000 every single year. It didn't matter what territory he was assigned to. It didn't matter the changes in commission. Every single year, that salesman hit $5,000 in sales. Here's the interesting thing. That salesman had initially done well in a smaller territory. Because of that, he was given a bigger and much better territory. The year after he was given this opportunity, his commission was almost exactly the same as when he had the smaller territory. The next year, the company raised the commission for all of their salespeople. Yet, this particular salesman still only managed to earn $5,000. The firm was perplexed, so they tried something else. This salesman was then given their poorest and worst territories. A year later, he made exactly $5,000. The sales consultants that the firm brought in to help found out that what was happening had nothing to do with external circumstances, but everything to do with the salesman's self-concept. He saw himself, believed himself to be a $5,000 a year man, and his behavior aligned with those beliefs, therefore limiting his potential earnings. When he was given a poor territory, he worked diligently to earn his $5,000 that year. But when he was given a more promising territory, he found 1,000,001 excuses to coast as soon as he got close to that $5,000 mark. On one occasion, after hitting his goal, that $5,000 goal, he fell mysteriously ill, couldn't work for the rest of the year. They tried everything. Doctors couldn't find anything wrong with him. And then he miraculously recovered by the start of the following year, the new sales year. Henry Ford once said, "Whether you think you can or think you can't, you are right." What you believe about yourself, what you say about yourself, what you repeat about yourself and to yourself, what you think about yourself, both consciously and unconsciously, all of those things are right. And your reality is either currently reflecting them or will eventually reflect them. There are people who walk around saying and thinking, I don't ask for much. I don't need much. Guess what? Life hears you, responds to you by saying, don't worry, I won't give you much. Or you walk around saying and thinking, oh, I don't do well in relationships. I always have crappy bosses. I never have enough money. I'm never the one that gets chosen. The list goes on. So what happens? Life continues to give you, continues to bring into your life scenarios that match how you see yourself, scenarios that match your self-image. Nothing will come through that doesn't match that image, because then there's a disconnect. You pull in things, people, scenarios that match how you see yourself, that match what you think you deserve, consciously and unconsciously. Now keep in mind that who you are, who you really are, the power that you are, is separate from this, is separate from the life situations that you have allowed to define you, to define your self-image. The core of you, that which is not separate from life, from God, cannot be touched, cannot be changed. That is the constant. The image that you have created is superficial, but you have made it real. Who you are is fact. Who you really are is fact. Your self-image is an opinion. How we see ourselves, our self-image, is shaped by past experiences and our beliefs. And it definitely affects everything that we do, how we behave, what we think we're capable of. It affects how we feel about ourselves and the world around us. Each of us has a mental picture of ourselves, even if we're not fully aware of it. This image is built from our beliefs, which are influenced by our past, our successes, our failures, and how other people treated us, especially when we were younger. Here's what's fascinating. Once we accept a belief about ourselves, we rarely question it. Instead, we act in ways that reinforce that belief. We create situations that align with and sustain that belief. Your mind is like a radio frequency. You hear whatever is playing on the station that you are tuned into. That's the music, the reality that will play for you. If you believe that you're not worth much, for example, that's the frequency, the station that you're tuned into. And that is the music, the reality that will continue to play for you. If you believe that only privileged people, people with opportunities, make it in this world, that you cannot make it without having what they have, then life will continue to affirm that belief for you by shaping your reality with experiences that align with your vision. I want to challenge you today. What beliefs are you stuck on? What stories have you told yourself repeatedly and told about yourself repeatedly? How has your self-image shaped your reality? Can you commit to changing that frequency just a little bit today? If you don't like where you're going, change direction. If you don't like the music that you're hearing, change the station. If you don't like what you're seeing in your current reality, start by changing how you see yourself. If you are committed, put I am committed in the comments. If this message connected with you, resonated with you, let me know in the comments as well. If you're seeing one of my messages for the first time, I'm Wemi. I'm a life coach and a career coach. It is so lovely to meet you. Don't forget to hit that follow button for more doses of inspiration. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. I'll see you soon.
Some people do not realize that there is a difference between being good looking, being conventionally attractive, and being hot. Do you know what I mean? There's a massive difference. You can be physically gorgeous, flawless, and not be very hot, not very sexy today. But do you know who some of the hottest people on earth are? The uglies. It's the uglies. And I use that term with such love and such appreciation. I don't mean that to offend. Some of the hottest boys, right? Let's be real. A lot of the boys, some of the hottest boys are the uglies. It's true. Every girl or gay guy knows it.
So I took out 2 loans to get here today. I don't even have money for a hotel. Slept
Give
in my
him a big
car.
hand, guys. Homeless dude.
I've slept in my car the past 2 nights, but I just wanted to show up. So my question is, how do you 10x your mindset to break through that fear of just getting to the next point?
Your mind's not your problem. You're sleeping in a car. Probably no one else in the room was willing to do that, including myself. You need to pick up a check. I would tell you, before today is over, you should get somebody to give you $500.
Okay. There we go. All right. Well, that worked. So somebody asked, what do I do?
Hold on, bro. I want half that, bro.
All right.
I feel like cool hobbies have died now. If you ask someone what they do in their free time, it's like, yeah, I watch Instagram reels. I don't want to be 50 years old with no talents and no skills. So here's a list of hobby ideas that I think make you super cool and interesting and low-key mysterious. Starting off strong with calisthenics. It's so good for your mobility and strength, and like, how cool is it to tell someone like, yeah, I do calisthenics. And if you're ever in a movie situation where you're hanging off a cliff and you're holding on to your friend, you will be able to actually survive. Next is photography, but like film photography specifically. It feels like old-timey, and you get like a physical photo to look at, like it's not just digital on your phone. Like, how cool is that? I'm sorry, film photography will always be cool. Next is rock climbing. So fun, and it builds your body in the best way possible. I like low-key feel like I'm connecting to my caveman ancestors when I do it. I'm sorry, I love going to the gym, but cool physical hobbies that actually give you like a skill is always so much better. Next is sewing. Imagine someone asks you where you got your top from and you're like, I made it. Biggest flex ever. Pottery, ceramics, sculpting, any of those, so cool. It's art and it's practical. A cheaper alternative is starting out with air dry clay. Martial arts in general, like taekwondo, muay thai, boxing, judo, any of those, especially if you're a girl, you have to do a martial arts. And it's so satisfying. Like, sometimes you really just need to punch a bag. Animation, it is literally the most tedious thing ever, but the final results are always so cool and so worth it. People who can do animation are genuinely the most talented people ever. Archery or fencing. I'm like a medieval fantasy fan, especially Lord of the Rings. Fighting in the olden times, it was such an art. Like, there was so much skill and talent put into it. Shooting ranges are cool, but being able to shoot an arrow accurately is a million times cooler.
As a model, I have learned and tried every single beauty tip. If there's anything that I know, it's beauty hacks and tips that work. I share the 5 tips that have dramatically changed my appearance. They're simple, quick, easy, and most importantly, under 50 dirhams. I'm not going to share anything expensive, anything crazy. These are all things you can do in like 5-10 minutes that will make a huge difference. Number 1 that I actually learned in one of my first photo shoots is to wax your sideburns. I hate to say it, it made a really big difference, especially in my confidence. When I would tie my hair back, it would look super smooth. I noticed that it really highlighted my jawline and it made my face just look a lot more sharp for some reason. Tip number 2 is going to be threading your eyebrows. If I ever feel ugly, all I have to do is book an eyebrow appointment. Eyebrows genuinely shape your entire face. It's crazy how big of a difference that they make. That's why whenever someone wants to thin out their eyebrows, I literally cringe. It's going to make your face just not look right. I don't think anyone suits thin eyebrows. I've never seen it look good. You can change my mind, but I've never ever seen it look good. I think defined, arched, nice eyebrows that suit your face look incredible, and they make the biggest difference. Also, cleaning up your eyebrows in the end, I find makes your face just look a lot more lifted. So 100%, if you're ever not feeling good, you want a little bit of like a quick glow up, do your eyebrows. Number 3 is my favorite, and I'm going to do a whole video on it. Basically, something that I think I invented. I don't know if anybody else has done this before, but it's called tan contouring. So when I was in uni, I always found that I got very pale. I went to uni in Scotland, I looked super pale. Even in Dubai, I felt like my face in the wintertime would lose definition. So if you want that sculpted look, like cheekbones, very defined face, but you can't really do it, but your natural face shape maybe doesn't look that way, or you have a more chubby, round face, what you're going to do, you're going to go on Amazon, or you're going to go to your nearest supermarket. You're going to get a small bottle of fake tan, preferably fake tan that's for the face. They're super cheap. I'm going to link one that's below 50 dirhams because I did say it would be below 50 dirhams. And you're going to get a contour brush or a beauty blender or anything that you can make a contour line with. This is my biggest hack, guys. Trust me, try this. Please. So I'm going to do a tutorial, but anyway, what you're going to do is you're going to take the beauty blender. You're going to literally act as if you're putting on contour, okay? You're going to put it here. Here, you can even contour your nose, little brush, and contour your lips. And you're going to sleep in it, okay? You're going to leave it on for either 6 to 8 hours, or you're going to leave it overnight. I would usually sleep in it. And then when you wash it off, there's going to be a little shadow that's going to look like you're wearing contour all the time. This would last a week for me. So for a week, I literally, guys, I would wear mascara, nothing on my face. And everyone was like, oh my God, your face looks so like bronzy. And I was like, oh, I don't know what I did. Trust me. The biggest difference that it made was on my lips. I would kind of draw on like a little Cupid's bow, and everybody was like, oh my God, did you get lip filler? I was like, no. So trust me, I'm going to make a whole other video on this because this is my favorite thing to do. But trust me, please do this right now. If I wanted an instant glow up, I would do that. Feel 10 times better. Tip number 4 is going to be corner lashes. I'm going to show them right here. Attach them to the ends of your eyes and they make your eyes look super long. I have one on right now. My eye ends here, but as you can see, there's like that little thing that makes your eyes look more like cat eye, which I think on my face shape and a lot of Arab girls, it looks really nice to have that kind of like swoop effect. Overall, it just elongates the eye, and I think it also adds a very like sexy, subtle look. Then tip number 5 is going to be watching lymphatic drainage tutorials on YouTube. Okay, go to YouTube, type in facial lymphatic drainage. I do this every morning. I put on my moisturizer and then I take my fingers and I literally just sculpt my face. It basically removes the water retention in your face. You can also do it on your collarbones. When you wake up, it's like this motion and then this motion, and you feel a lot more tighter. So trust me, do it for a couple of days and you're gonna see a huge difference in the way that your face holds puffiness and water retention. It's gonna drastically go down. Also, of course, managing sodium, especially before bed, is gonna make a huge difference. And those are my 5 quick, easy, and super cheap methods to have a little instant glow up.
There's one thing that I have mastered, and it is how to change your life in 1 year. And no, I'm not going to just be talking about vision boards. I'm going to really teach you strategically how to change your life in 1 year. I just graduated at USC to become a therapist, so I really understand the subconscious mind and how to work smarter and not harder. I'm going to explain 3 things in this episode today, and the first thing that you guys really need to understand is that you need to assess where you're at right now. What was this year like? What was good? What was bad? In order to change your life, you need to know where you're at, so you know the next steps of how to become successful. A lot of people don't want to evaluate their life because it's scary and it means that they're going to have to probably change a lot of things. I want you guys to be brave, and I want you guys to look through your camera roll. I want you to read your journals. I want you to go through your calendar. I want you to go through your finances and see everything that you spend. I want you to understand your income in detail. You know, if you guys want my favorite podcast, but one that I love from Rachel Hollis, she says to do all those things, but then she also mentions to have a notebook with you so you can evaluate what was good, what was bad, what was a highlight, what made you feel happy and fulfilled. I did this last year, and I truly think it woke me up. And it's why I changed so dramatically in just 1 year. This is going to be the wake-up call that you guys have been dying for. Don't worry, I am going to teach you guys how to be strategic in setting goals, but the first thing that you need to understand is your purpose and season in life. This year for mine, it was grad school. It was my clients. I had school, so I couldn't travel. I couldn't do all these crazy things. I think a lot of times we want to fit everything in 1 year. Some things you just have to put off for another year. What I want you to do is ask yourself, what is my season in life? Like, some of you are new moms. Some of you are starting grad school or full-time job. I want you to ask yourself, how can I make this the best year, and how can I make it extra better so I can get to where I want to be? You might be working full-time, but maybe you want to get out of the 9 to 5, so you're going to have to sacrifice a little bit and start a side hustle to get to where you want to be. I want you guys to get really excited about where you're at right now, and I want you to understand how you can make the best of this moment. Now, if you don't know what your purpose is, I want you to think of your life in 5 to 10 years. What do you want to have in your life? Let's just do 5 years. In 5 years, where do you want to be? And some of you might think, not at this job, or I want to be moved here, I want to have this business, whatever. What do you need to do now that your future self will thank you for? What can you get started this year that if you were consistent with it every single day and it was manageable and you could put aside 30 minutes for it every single day, what is that one thing that would get you to that next stage in life? For me, that was social media. I knew I had to start social media in order to have the life that I wanted to have. I knew that I had to go to grad school. Do you think I wanted to go to grad school? I don't want to go to grad school and have an unpaid internship. I knew that's what I had to do to get to where I want to be, which is a therapist. I love you guys. I'm going to hold your hand when I say this, but sometimes you guys just don't want to do the work. You don't want to do the things that you don't want to do. And if you can't master doing things you don't want to do, you will never be successful. That's harsh, and it is true. Get your certification, get the education, do the things that you need to do in order to be successful. And guess what? A lot of it's not going to be fun. Let me know what questions you have in the comments, but I'm going to be posting about this every single day. So make sure that you follow along. If there's something that I can promise is that if you do these things, your life will change. There's no doubt about it. Let me know what questions you have.
Here is a take on social media that you have never heard before, unless, of course, you follow me already, in which case you've definitely heard it before, because this is the shit that I've been screaming for the last 3 years. I want you to think about something. Being yourself, right? What the fuck does that really mean? Well, I'm going to give you a little spoiler alert. The way that you be in your life, out in the world, is really just a system of habits habits that you started forming when you were young. And when you were young, you probably also went through some bullshit, some trauma, some nonsense. At one point, you were either probably told you were too much or not enough. And you got really good very early on at changing into whatever you thought you needed to be to make the people around you happy. But eventually, once you start putting all those things in a box to hide them from people, because God forbid they see the real you, those changes stick and they start to become habit. Okay, so now you are an adult and you're being yourself, or so you think, in your real life, and you might even identify as a people pleaser, and you're that, you can at least describe that label to yourself. Perhaps you're not even realizing yet, you don't even realize yet, like, oh gosh, the fact that I prioritize everybody's needs before my own, and I'm terrified of being abandoned or disappointing others, or I'm always going to make sure the needs of others are met before my own. Yeah, that's called people pleasing, sweet babe. And then you come on TikTok, and maybe you're just scrolling, or maybe you've tried to make a video before and it's just felt god-awful, or maybe you make a lot of videos, and maybe you're actually pretty prominent on this platform. I don't know who's watching this video. But whoever you are, it's been hard. It's been awkward. It doesn't make really a lot of sense to you why when you hit the big red button, you feel like you have never spoken the English language before. What's missing in the equation that's out there and the equation that's in here? People. Right? I know you're afraid that people are going to see your posts and they're going to say mean shit, or you're afraid that no one's going to see your posts and no one's going to say anything, because that would affirm and confirm your worst fear that you don't matter and that nobody cares. But the biggest difference is that there's nobody around you when you record this content, which is why when you hit the big red button, you have no idea who the fuck you are. Because let's go back. The habitual self that you've been being is based upon the needs of others and whatever you perceive you're receiving from them in terms of stimuli and cues, right? But here I'm alone, right? I'm in my office. I'm standing on my standing fucking desk with my walking treadmill. What does all this add up to? Well, I'm Justin Schumann, human's in my last name, and I am here to teach you the inner and the outer work of being seen, of showing the fuck up in your own life. And I am telling you, mark my fucking words, you should be using direct-to-camera talking content, just like I am right now, to practice being yourself. Because since there's no one here to subconsciously, for my terrified, insecure, fight, flight, fawn, freeze body that's constantly in dysregulation, because who among us is not, I'm not being a version of myself for anyone right now except for me. And again, that's why when you hit the bigger button, you have no idea who to be, because you've shown up for others in your own life for so goddamn long. If this video dragged you for filth a little bit and you're like, holy shit, I want to take up space in my life, I want to stop hiding, I want to find my personality again, hit follow. I'm here teaching every single day. Free value. Ask anybody who's ever followed me before. I have no idea how you would do that, but say hello in the comments and I will tell you. People who have followed me before will tell you. I don't give up. I will never stop. I've been sharing this message for years, before authenticity on social media was the buzzword of everything. I've been saying you don't need to niche down. I've been saying you are interesting, you're enough, you matter, and you might not believe that right now. Follow me for a little bit. I promise it'll be a lot easier to believe.
I'm waiting for my mum in the car, and I think I'm having a bit of a realization that the taxi, like theory from Sex and the City, is actually a lot more depressing than I originally thought, and it's not funny and cute. It's for two reasons. One is I've just realized that the next gal that he dates might actually be the one he ends up with. Like, that might be endgame. And then they get married and have kids and buy a house and go on family holidays, and that's a lot of firsts that you're not going to be the one for. And then number two is the fact that maybe the next guy I end up with might be the one, but then are they just settling because their taxi light's on? Is it truly because it's the right girl, or is it because it's the right place and time? Can that be a thing for guys? Can it be the right girl and the right place and time? Or can it be the right girl, wrong place, wrong time, but they make it the right place, right time? Or does it always just have to be whichever girl, but needs to be right place, right time? I don't know.
My therapist taught me this analogy that I think about every single day. If we are living in a house that has no food, there's no food in the kitchen, no food in like the pantry, the fridge, the cupboards are completely empty, and we live there and a man comes to the door, or whoever you are romantically interested in, and has a really fresh, hot, delicious box of pizza. And he's like, hey, I have this pizza for you. Do you want it? And you're starving, and you're like, yes, thank you so much. I'm so hungry. I need the pizza. And he's like, okay, well, the catch is I get to come in as well with the pizza. And you're like, okay, I'm literally starving. Like, I'll take whatever. Just get in here. Like, I need to eat that pizza. Versus if you have a fully stocked kitchen, fridge is full, pantry's full, cupboards are full, you have so much food in your house, and if somebody comes to the door with a pizza and they're like, hey, do you want this pizza? And you're like, yeah, thanks, like, that smells delicious. And they're like, okay, well, I get to come in too. And then you're like, okay, actually, I'm not interested. Like, I have food inside. I don't need the pizza that bad, so no thank you. And then you don't invite them in. The whole point of this analogy is in dating, when you have basically empty reserves of like self-love, confidence, self-worth, you are starving and desperate, and so you will take anybody that comes to your door with pizza. Anybody that's coming to your door to offer you what you don't already have, whether it's like acceptance, love, self-worth, whatever, you're like, yeah, whatever, I'll take whatever other garbage you have because that pizza, I need it so bad or I'm gonna die. Versus when you have worked on yourself, done all the healing work, whatever you need to do to like fill up your coffers, if you will, and like your pantry's full, your fridge is full, then when somebody comes to the door and you're like, yeah, that pizza smells really good, but all the other garbage, like, it's just not worth it. Like, I'm actually good. I'm not gonna starve to death without you. So you are better equipped to like reject garbage, basically. And so I thought I'd share, because it is a bummer that my therapy sessions are not nationally televised for everyone to learn.
I think the most amazing turning point in someone's life starts with the words, I don't want to live like this anymore. It's not something that comes from the outside, like from people telling you what you should do, but it's when on the inside you have this deep knowing that something has to change. I know it can feel very scary because you might not know what you want or you don't know how to get there. But the most important thing in this time, and the hardest thing by far, is to not trying to rush and solve it all in your head, and instead sit still, because you need to be so quiet so that way you can finally hear your heart to know what to do next. And I know it feels very hard because what we want is to control it, to make sure that everything will work out. But what my life has shown over and over again, that whenever I ended somewhere not fun, it was because I was not trusting my own instinct. And then life forces you to do it by taking things away. And so this turning point is your opportunity to finally hear yourself. And if you don't know exactly how you want to be, or you doubt what's possible for you, but in this moment you know that this life is too short to settle, everything can change for the better.
So, you want to vlog your normal life, but you don't really know where to start. Today, let's talk about one of the most important ingredients of great storytelling: conflict. Conflict creates intrigue. So here's how the most successful creators tell their stories on video and make them so engaging, even if they're vlogging boring days. Always, always, always make it extremely clear who is the character and what is this specific story about.
Day in the life of a New York City mom. Today was the last day of school before Christmas break.
Now let's get to the conflict. Conflict doesn't really mean that something dramatic happened. Life itself has conflict everywhere. And what makes a great storyteller is the ability to see those moments in average, mundane moments.
Then I headed up to Lafayette to meet my friend Emily for breakfast. She wanted to try their viral supreme croissants. There's a line wrapped around the block, but if you get there at 8:30 a.m., it's pretty empty. I think you're supposed to split it open with your hands, but we attempted to cut it like a cake with a plastic knife and made a huge mess. It was still delicious though.
You see, she's literally talking about a plastic knife. As you tell your story, highlight the unexpected things that happened or the things that could potentially go wrong.
The next few hours were the busiest I've ever seen the March Hare. We had nonstop customers, which let me tell you is not usually the case.
Here it is again.
It took me forever before I had a free second to eat my sandwich.
So let's be real, you were never bad at making content. You just didn't know how to use storytelling in your videos. If you want to use storytelling to grow your brand on social media and you want my help, comment the word storytelling and I will send you all the details on how we can make that happen.